You are now live. I'm so excited. You know what? I'll tell you what, Rex. My journey with technology this last year has been amazing, to say the least. So this is what
The power of positivity right there.
I'm telling you. I don't stop. But it's funny though because some people would just give up. I'm like, nope. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. So here we are on Be Live on Facebook because Zoom's not working right now. So let's just give it a few minutes and maybe we'll get some more people to join us.
Awesome.
I'm excited to connect with you and to collaborate. Look, we collaborated and we're not even seeing each other. It's a virtual collaboration.
I know, it's awesome. I'm excited.
I am too. You know, my hope in this whole series of Hope and the Fear is to, you know, educate, guide, and empower our hairdressing community. And I know so many powerful people out in our industry, and I've been intentionally connecting with them over the last 2 weeks to deliver on that message. So I definitely thought of you, my friend, because I watch you virtually all the time. And I knew the moment I saw you, I'm like, he's my people. Because you're so, I know inspiring people have been held back, for sure. And I know that when you can arise above that, that's something special when you start sharing it with people. So that's what I thought of you the first time I saw you. Is that correct?
Thank you very much. This whole technology thing and being vulnerable and coming out into this like environment where you're like sharing of yourself, I never wanted to do this.
Right.
I think a lot of hairdressers are actually introverts.
Yeah.
Like I truly am a person that's like, let me hurry up and get to my car and sit here for 10 minutes in silence.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to get into a car accident because I'm going to ram my car into something. So I truly never, ever wanted to be the person that was like, out here. But so many people, when you start sharing yourself, so many people are experiencing the same type things. And I feel like it's important to be true to yourself. And when you do that, others just are like, yes, I needed to hear that because that's exactly how I'm feeling. So it feels good to share it.
Yeah. And so how is it for you doing the video thing? Because I've got my thing on video. What's your thing? What's your little internal dialogue about the whole video thing?
Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great analogy. Because I'll tell you, everyone, especially my friends that do social media all the time, they're like, Tammy, you have to go on video. And I'm like, oh, I just don't want to go on video. They're like, you have to go on video. Like, you're going to have to get over it. So I have been taking baby steps the last year, just doing little snippets of video. And now it's like, you know what? Just rip the Band-Aid off. I've got to just overcome that. Because inside, I feel so uncomfortable. But then on the outside, people are like, what are you talking about? You can't even tell.
It's true. I actually coached 3 hairdressers this week because they wanted to be able to start going on video. And I actually coached 3 of them. And I said, can I tell you something really personal? And they said, sure. I said, I get nervous every single time.
Right.
And they said, you do? I said, yes. And how many lives do you think I do a week? And they're like, a lot. I'm like, every single time there's a little bit of nervousness, and sometimes it's a lot of nervousness. So, I mean, it's just something that you have to get over. And my therapist told me that if you aren't nervous every time you get in front of an audience, that means you're not prepared and ready, because it's so important, the message that you want to get out to your audience. That's why you're nervous. That's why your body, that's why your central nervous system is like, oh, there's nerves, because you just want to be able to be on point and share that message. So,
yeah. And you're growing. You know, it's almost like I've transitioned from being on stage at a hair show, that whole nervous night. Now it's like I don't get nervous. And now it's this whole nother evolution of here it comes. I'm getting nervous again. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you on and connect with you because I know you're coaching hairdressers just like I am, and you you know, I look up to so many people in our beauty industry, regardless of the brand they use, that it's so important for us to all come together and connect and really help our community. So that's my goal, is to help our community of hairdressers. And one thing that I've learned is that we're stronger together. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out to Rex and just chat with him, because I know you've got such great insight on things. You've lived through so much. So I wanted to connect with you and kind of give me your take on stronger together. What does that mean? Because it's not a hashtag to me. I truly mean it. So when we put that up here, stronger together, what does that mean for you?
Well, I think it means a whole myriad of things to a lot of people. I think right now during this pandemic, we've all started using it because not only are we better and stronger together as a community of hairdressers, regardless of brand, specific, or anything of that matter, but we're also stronger and better together as communities wherever we might live. To me, it means coming together and lifting one another up. Even when maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe there was some competition versus a sense of community. And now it's like, can we just keep going with this?
Yes.
Not necessarily the pandemic, the negative portion, but can we keep going with the sense of community and the sharing and loving on one another and just lifting one another up and saying, you know what, there's something great about this over here, and there's something awesome about what's going on over here, and there's something awesome about what's happening over here. And let me bring that all together into my wheelhouse, and let me build myself up in what I'm doing as a brand, as Rex the brand, and let me do that. And then let me begin to share out again and lift everybody up that's around me. So I think that stronger together, that's what that means, is just reaching out and everybody lifting up together, because we can't do it alone.
I agree. And so, you know, just talking to you, when all this happened, let's give a little bit of background about you. So you're in Arkansas, you work there, you also work in New York. So you have two salons that you go into and you do your business. So
Right.
obviously, and your partner is in New York, so you're not even getting to see him.
Right.
But you had to have that moment of that oh shit moment, and you had to go inward. That was something you told me. You went inward and you had to figure this out. So kind of take us through that, because I think that's going to help a lot of hairstylists right now, how you worked this out so you can start moving forward.
Sure. So I think, you know, we're all at a different stage, right? And I just heard 2-3 days ago, I think the governor of Arizona just shut down hairstylists. And so everybody in the nation has been at a different stage. But for me personally, I was working gung-ho and going and going and going, right? Because I was like, I'm working until I'm told that I can no longer work in the state of Arkansas. And I did that. Anybody that follows me saw the post. 12:06 a.m. is when I stopped working, because I had clients that were like, can I get in? Can I get in? Can I get in? And I'm like, you better hurry up. Come on, let's get it done. And so we were working and we were there, and I had probably 4 or 5 chairs going at one time. Yeah. And we were just going. And it felt like Christmas 5.0. I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
So I finished, and I mean, you're just on such a high because you just have to get all this done, you know, and you're like, it's over. And then you have that low from being exhausted, and then you go home and you're supposed to be in the salon the next morning.
Yeah, that's where it hits you.
And you're like, and I still got up, got on my Peloton, did my workout, got in the shower, went to go get dressed, and I'm like, what in the F am I doing? Like, I don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
And then I was just like, what am I going to do? Because our state hadn't been shut down. It was just salons, barbers, shops, and whatnot. And I did some things around the house, But it didn't take very long, and I was like, now what?
Yeah.
And then you start going into, okay, let's watch all the Netflix stuff and do whatever. But it literally was probably a day and a half of that kind of like, oh, this is kind of fun. I never get to do this and restful. And then depression kind of started to set in.
Yep.
And I'm like, you got to snap out of this. I can't deal with this. Like, this is not me. This is not the time of year that you're supposed to be depressed. Like, you're not supposed to get out your depression pills right now. This is not supposed to be happening. Like, you've got to do something right now. And just because you're not going into the salon, you've got to figure this out. And I think everybody has to get to that point. Like, you have to allow yourself to have that moment to go down, because you're going to. You're going to be hyper, and then you're going to crash, and that's fine. But then you got to pick yourself up or reach out to somebody and say, hey, what do I do right now? And then you just got to go into action and start doing something. And that is, what am I going to do next? And that's where you begin to, into our next phase, writing your story.
Yeah, which I love, because truly, we all have to rewrite our story right now. And that's something you and I've talked about. Like, we've been writing our own story this whole time anyway, if you really think about it, right? It's just a different chapter. Actually, you and I said this is a whole new series, because like, we really truly don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But we can take control by writing it ourselves. Like, what is it going to look like for you? And I keep saying, like, who am I going to be and how am I going to show up right now in my community? And I think that's who I've always showed up for. I'm just like hypering it up. I'm like amping it up, like really be there for people in a way I've never been before. And really look at your business. Look at your business behind your chair, which you've been doing. And I want you to share that. So how are you writing your story behind your chair right now? Because I think that will really kind of click for some people to start looking at this from a new perspective.
So, I mean, here's the thing. We have a whole bunch of unknowns as hairdressers. And I think that's part of my frustration. As a type A personality, OCD personality that wants to control everything, right?
Right.
I can't. This is not in my control. I didn't do this. I can't fix this. And as a Capricorn also, I'm a person that wants to fix. Like, I want to go and fix something. Like, okay, give me the challenge. Perfect. A, B, C, go. Let's go do it. I can't do it. There's nothing that I can do about this. And so that was part of what I had to deal with. And I think a lot of us probably have to deal with that also, right? So writing my story began with me thinking, now what is it gonna look like when I go back in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5, 6? What is it gonna look like? Is my salon gonna be there? Do I want to be in a salon? Do I want to go on my own? Do I want to be in a salon suite? Do I want to do hair? I mean, like,
like it's all going through your head. Like,
all of these things, right? So you're gonna have to start like journaling and figuring these things out. And for me, one of my most favorite things that I started doing in the last quarter were these huge color correction projects.
Yeah.
Like when people would call in for, I require a color consultation anytime there is a new client. They have to come in for a color consultation before their appointment was actually scheduled. But these people would call in and they would be with the front desk saying, I went here and this happened. Like, it would be like a 10-minute, like, I went through all of these things. So they would come in and it would be like, I would only have 2 available spots for these huge color corrections, right? And one of my most favorite color correction, like, mentor persons is Lisa Walker.
Yeah.
I love her. She's like, boof, so direct, to the point and whatnot. And I just love it. And so what I found out was that it's something that I wanted to do. And so I realized that I don't have to do hair like I've been doing. here or there in New York. I just want New York to become a color correction site. And so I'm literally changing everything about what I do in New York. And that brings me so much joy and happiness because I get to do what I really, really want to do. I really want to spend 10 or 12 hours, yes, with one client fixing a disaster, right? I want to educate on it by utilizing IGTV, Facebook, and explaining step by step, taking amazing photographs of every single part and piece, and teaching to the color wheel, underlying pigment, and just using that for my brand and what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I can do that because we have this setback time. So literally the clients that I have in New York, I'm literally going to give those away to a junior stylist or someone else because I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, is you could literally start marketing that's who you are in New York. You're the color correction guy. You can start making videos on it, tagging people. Like you are literally creating your future from home right now. Because you can choose to be frozen and worried. And that is not going to do you any service for your future self. So create what you want it to look like. This is the end result. Rex wants to be color correction person in New York. And then from here, you start living into that future. And
exactly.
That's exciting. Like that's going to get your shit out of bed in the morning, isn't it?
It is. It's so exciting. Like you really, like everyone talks about having a dream board. So it's kind of like that, except it's an action board is what I call it. It truly is.
Right now.
Yes, it's your action board. What's your end goal? But your end goal is like your beginning goal after this pandemic ends, and you're told by your authority in your state, hey, hairdresser, go back to the salon. You can work. That is that's what your start date is. What do you want that to look like? And so that's what you need to start your action board with. What do you want it to be? And
rewrite what you want it to be. Because if you go back and keep doing the exact same thing, then you're in the exact same space you were when this whole thing began.
Yeah.
Right? And I know for a fact there's at least one thing different that every hairdresser could be out there doing differently to make their business more profitable, more happy, bring more of their passion to it, like literally living with intention. And I know I say it all the time, but I mean it. Really living with intention on what you want your business to look like.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, and that's exciting. That's something to get up for in the morning. Like, damn, I get to rewrite my business. I get to rewrite what my clients are going to look like, how much money I'm going to make, what I'm going to look like, how many hours I'm going to work, what I'm going to charge, who I'm going to look up to, who I'm going to collaborate with, like all of it. I could go on and on.
Right. So exciting. And
that's what I'm doing. I love it.
Yeah. And then here in Arkansas, I'm like, there's a trend that's happening on both ends of the country, and on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and that's where a lot of amazing stylists are going to hourly charge versus charging for service or bundling services. And I've thought, how am I ever going to change to that?
Yeah, that's a really unique concept that you were talking about.
When I see over 300 clients a month, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to change that or when I'm going to change that. Well, guess what? I have a large gap in time. And when we start back, this is the new me. This is what we're going to do. It's very simple. That way, I just love it so that when someone comes in and says, can I have a few highlights also today? Sure, no problem. Done. I don't have to worry about how the booking system works or anything like that. Everyone is going to have X amount of block of hours, X amount of block of hours, and everyone's going to know this is what your hourly rate is, and you're how much you want to pay.
This was a huge shift for me doing hair behind the chair. I had to cut my hours back and work less hours so that I quit beating up my body, right?
Right.
So the number one thing that made the biggest difference in my business is I started marking on an extra 15 minutes with every client. Now, I couldn't do it right away because I was so booked But when I started pre-booking out, that's when I started putting the extra 15 minutes for every client. And I cannot tell you the difference that made. The fact that I could stop and go to the bathroom, I could really nurture my client and see, do they really need a treatment? Do they need a booster? Do they need a gloss? Do they need an eyebrow arch? Like, I could really start servicing them and not feeling hurried because I gave that 15 extra minutes, even just putting a few packets in their hair. And what I noticed is when I intentionally took that 15 minutes out, I created more income. It was the craziest thing. And then I started doing another intention. Like, I just added it on. Now I'm really going to mark out that 30 minutes for my lunch. Like, I'm literally going to take it just for me and start practicing that self-care. And every day I took that 30 minutes. And I felt so much better and so much more energy when I just took 30 minutes out to take a breath, eat a full meal, return phone calls instead of doing it all at once. Because normally you're in the bathroom, you're eating, you're drinking, you're going to the bathroom, you're returning a text. Like, that's literally what hairdressers do.
Right.
Clients don't know that, but that's what we're literally doing. What if you took 30 minutes every day to do that with intention to really, that's what you're going to do in that 30 minutes? Because then you can be present for your client. Right? It is amazing. And we do it to ourselves because no one ever taught us that. In beauty school, we were taught to be booked all the time, to be double booked, to get an assistant, boom, 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 get them in, get them out. And that is how we were raised in our beauty field. Agree?
Agreed. 100%.
I don't remember one teacher telling me to make sure you mark out for lunch. None.
No. But I think through this pandemic, I think a lot of things are going to change.
Yes.
But that's only going to change if every single hairdresser takes this time right now and writes their story. What do they want to change about where they were and where they want to go? It's up to every single one of us. What do you want your story to be? You have the power of the pen. You can write it.
The pen and paper.
Do it. However you want it to be, it is completely up to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, we have so many clients that beg us to come in early, beg us to stay in late, and we do. And then that takes away time from our family, takes away time from our self-care, takes away time from our social life with our friends. But we are doing that to ourselves. We literally do that to ourselves. They're not doing it. We're the ones saying yes, right? So we really did stick to the schedule we wanted. Rewrite it right now in your book. Because right now, really, you have a blank book. You don't even have appointments made because you're going to have to juggle everything.
Yeah.
So what if you really did only work 6 hours instead of 7 hours, or 9 hours instead of 10 hours, and you had that one extra hour every day, 5 or 6 days a week? You just added 5 or 6 extra hours in your day. That's a game changer.
It is a game changer. It's a whole extra day if you think about it.
I know. So it's these little bitty shifts that we can start making now, that when we go back into the salon, will make huge gains for us.
Right. 100%.
But we have to do it. What is it? Action removes all fear. We have to take action.
It does.
It can't be frozen anymore. It's not an option.
No, and I still think I'm talking to so many hairdressers still, either in large forums or one-on-one, and there's still so much fear out there. And it's fine as long as you know where fear is coming from and you know how to get rid of it. If you will use fear for its true intention, and that is to move you to action, which is positive. So if you need to get that fear to get you into something positive, then you need to do that. But you've got to pick yourself up. There's something that I tell people all the time. Get yourself down low and you're feeling some kind of way. You just got to pick yourself up. And I say, you've got to go forward, onward, and upward.
Love it.
You've just got to do those 3 things in whatever you're trying to do, because we all have fear. Yep. Tammy and I just talked about having fear to go on here and do this.
I know.
Hit the button.
There. You have to move through it. I mean, it's always going to be there.
Right.
Always.
Right.
But to have the awareness that it's there and to move forward anyway.
Right.
But you have to keep moving forward. You know, I have to keep moving forward right now. I cannot just lay around and get depressed about this. And this is what's so interesting about it. The fact that I'm moving forward right now, I cannot tell you how many new people that I've created relationships with. I'm, helping our community even more. I'm growing from connecting and helping our community. And it's coming in all different forms. I'm not mapping it out. It's just happening day to day. Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's just to help everybody take action, and however we express that is what's important. If it's sharing, something like this, if it's creating a course, if it's sharing a technique, if it's talking about inspiration, if it's talking about hairstyles, I don't know what it is, but everybody in our community is looking for something, and it's so great that we're getting the opportunity to share it right now.
Right. It's I love that you just said that, Tammy. Everybody in our community is looking for something.
Yes.
Some people in our community are looking for recipes. Some people in our community are looking for ways to entertain their children because they're also now homeschooling 4 children, and they never had to do that before. Some people in our community are literally trying to figure out how to balayage because they are old school hairdressers and they have never, ever, ever done that before.
Yeah.
Some of us are just trying to do as much education as possible during this time because so many states don't require continuing education. And it's an awesome time to be able to do that. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And I love that people are really diving into their strengths right now, and they're contributing, right?
Yes.
They're contributing the best way you know. It's so funny. Like, I've got a girl on my team that's baking bread right now, and she's like showing all the different bread that she's making. And then we have other hairdressers who are teaching yoga right now online. It has nothing to do with hair, but it really is helping them to stretch their bodies and to breathe and to get calm. It's everybody's feeding the mind, body, and soul right now in their own way with their own gifts. And it's amazing to see that.
It's so interesting when you're in this community. We typically talk about very few things outside of hair, right? We usually are talking about food, how to lose weight because we eat so much food, and we're not exercising, or what pill or thing to take to lose weight, right? So those are the things that we talk about. So right now, we're seeing all these people go out there and we're seeing their talents, like how to make bread. You're like, I didn't even know you knew how to bake. Right? So we're learning so many things about people that you're like, wow, this is amazing. Or you really are a yoga person. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I love it. It's been great. It's I have foodies, friends that post their food that they're making. I'm like, damn, I need to go over to their house for dinner. And then friends are into fashion, and they're showing all these little cute shoes and dresses and where they shop. And I don't know. It's just we've got all these resources, and I truly believe that we have the answer to this inside of our resources on our own teams and our own community.
Right. I think we get so like blinded. We put our blinders on and we're like, do, this is what we do, staying in my lane, not going to look outside, not going to do anything else, do. And then sometimes, as sad as this may sound, sometimes we need something to make us stop in our tracks, to literally be silent and figure out who we are again so that we can go forward and do the right thing all the time. And that is to reach out. So I think, here we are, and we're doing great things. And I'm so excited to see just the community all come together. It's absolutely amazing. So
yeah, it's been really good. Okay, so any other words for me? We've written our story. We've talked about that. We've talked about how action removes fear, and we've talked about stronger together. So Give me how you're living with your intentions right now. What are you doing on a daily? What are you doing right now?
On the daily, I'm still getting up. I'm doing I'm literally living the schedule that I was in the salon. So I'm still getting up, doing the same thing. I'm making my bed. You know, I've always preached to make your bed. Like if you're not making your bed every day, it's kind of a problem. Hold on. I think, are you still there?
Yeah, we're still on.
Oh, where are you? Oh, there you are. I don't know what happened. So literally I'm still doing all the things that I normally did, right? It's never been a problem for me to do those things. I just do them, and I love just having my routine. Like I have to have a routine in my life, and I think that's where a lot of people make it up. So I do my routine, get up, do my Peloton, I have my coffee, have my morning, I don't really read the news because it's just, I can't with the news right now. I just can't.
Yeah, will you talk about that for a minute? Because I think I have touched on a little bit, but the whole news thing.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, that's the thing. I can tell you, like my mom watches the news 24/7, right? And I can't do that. And I know people think it's naive not to watch the news all the time, but I'll tell you, I live a happier life because I don't watch it. I do go on and I get the update, find out exactly what I need to know, and then I shut it off. And then at night, I'll turn it on for a few minutes just to get the update and turn it off because I do want to stay informed. But I think there's a huge difference between staying informed and staying engulfed and marinated and saturated in it. It's two different things.
100%. Like I think you can be informed in a very brief amount of time throughout the day. You know, like the Dr. Pepper 10, 2, and 4 or whatever it was. Like I don't think it takes a lot of time throughout the day. So I will say that. I'm spending a lot of time with a lot of hairdressers trying to make sure that everyone's on the up and up. I'm checking in with my family members. I'm checking in with friends. I'm checking in with my elderly clients. I'm making a point to check in with 10 clients a day.
I love that.
Just calling them on the phone, not texting them, because I want to hear their voice. I text my entire book. I kept my books the same. I didn't move my books. I left it. And that's how I'm going to know how to rebook them. I'm starting the day that I stopped working and I'm going forward. But every Sunday, I text them all for the following week. And then I call every day. I call that whole book. Tuesday, I call the whole book. Wednesday, I call the whole book. And that's just what I'm doing just to stay involved in their life. Just because I don't want to go 6 weeks or however long it is without knowing what's happening.
Well, I don't think you can. I personally don't think you can do that. You've got to stay connected to your clients now more than ever and check in on them. And also, you know, I've been connecting in with my team, you know, setting up calls, educational calls, sending out emails, making sure they're connected to everything that we're doing as a company, you know, just supporting because, you know, it's a lot. It means a lot to people when you say, hey, I'm here. Let me know if you need anything. Let's create opportunities to get together. You know, I know a lot of salons that are doing virtual happy hours with their clients. Yeah. They're calling their staff and they're all getting together to talk about what they're going to do at the beginning of the week business-wise. And at the end of the week, they're just doing a fun, like, connect virtual happy hour with just staff. You know, all kinds of connections going on. But right. I think it's definitely important that we stay connected to our business, our families, our friends.
Exactly. Other than that, there's something, the week after this happened, Ryan Whedon, who is over Masters of Balayage, kind of got together a group of hairdressers, and I think his event is actually happening right now. And he put together this saying, if you will. It's called the Heroes Challenge. And I'm just going to tell everybody about it really fast. It's something that I do, and I try to talk about it every time I go live. And I put it in, you're supposed to put it in your phone, in your alarm, in your alarms. So literally you can go into your alarms. Everybody should know this, right? Because we're all hairdressers and we use alarms and timers on our phone all the time. So literally I go into my alarms and I set up 3 different alarms throughout the day. So my personal alarms are set up to set this saying up that I'm going to tell you at 6 a.m. in the morning, because I get up at 5 a.m. So at 6 a.m. in the morning, I set this alarm up, and when the alarm goes off, it tells me this message, right?
Right.
Okay. And then at 3 p.m., because that's kind of a lull in the day, and that's probably when I have another cup of coffee, because I do. And then I have another alarm that goes off at 10 p.m. That's usually when I'm kind of settling down or starting my second wind or third or fourth wind. So that's what I have in the alarm. So then I literally say, when this alarm goes off, I say these things out loud when the alarm comes off. And this is what I say to myself. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I am strong.
Yes.
I am capable. I am resilient. I never give up. I got this.
Perfect. I love it.
So that's the Heroes Challenge. Put those in 3 different alarms throughout your day. And I'm just going to keep on with it personally because I love saying that. And I like changing around. I say it to people that I'm coaching, to my children. I change it and just say, you are. And the first couple days that I said it, when I said, I am strong, it brought tears to my eyes.
I know, it still does, doesn't it?
It does. But when I say, you are strong, you are capable, you are resilient, you never give up, and you got this, always brings tears to my eyes because you all have it. It's all going to be okay. And we all can do this together. We're better together than we ever thought we were. We're better together as a community than ever competing against each other.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you mine, what my alarms are.
Perfect.
Although I'm not doing the hero challenge, this is my own challenge for myself. My first one is I can speak my truth. I can speak through my heart.
Good one.
That's a good one. The other one is, hey, love, nobody has the power over my will for grace. And then my other one is, hey, beautiful, I am worthy of a good night's sleep. Because I did sleep well. So I set that alarm at 8:30. Hey, beautiful, I am worthy of a good night's sleep. And then at 10:30, it says, in your night with gratitude. So I have 4 alarms on mine. And when I first started doing these, my husband is like, who is calling you all the time? What are all these things? I'm like, I have alarms to myself so I can keep it together. But just, I have another alarm on my phone, or on my watch, that goes off to drink water. So I'm constantly being reminded these things.
Yeah.
I love yours. I love your hero challenge. We're going to put that in the comments when we get off of here. And I'll make a post on it because I do think those are great words to live by, especially now more than ever. And if we have to, sometimes you just have to be there for yourself, you know?
Right.
And you that's good. I love it. All right, my friend. Well, I appreciate you joining me. And like I said in my post, I knew the moment I saw you, you had good energy. And I am so appreciative that you shared your energy today with me and my friends, and that I got to meet some of your friends virtually. And I hope to collaborate with you again in the future. It'll be great.
I would love that. You are amazing. Thank you for having me. And I appreciate everyone that tuned in with us tonight.
Yeah. All right. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.